Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Game Club. I'm Graham.
And I'm George. We have painstakingly looked through each new Zenless video frame by frame to bring you all the newest and most interesting details. This video is going to focus on combat and most especially the new parry, or rather assist mechanic, but expect another video covering other new information coming at you real soon.
So, Zenless has been making the rounds recently with public demos at places like HoYoFest, Anime Expo, and now Gamescom. However, these limited demos run a version of the game based off the old tuning test. We've covered the details of this in a recent discussion video, but basically, if you've seen the tuning test footage, you've seen the demos footage. And while Gamescom may have come and gone, with it comes new Zenless videos on the official YouTube channel and through IGN exclusives. What's notable about this footage though is it's from a new, never-before-seen build of the game. And let me tell you, there's a lot of juicy stuff to look at. Some things are more apparent, while others are a bit more subtle.
So let's quickly get two small changes out of the way. First, the enemy's health and poise bars have been moved from the middle of the screen to the top right. Personally, I hope this is just a setting because I much prefer it in the middle. The other is detailed information on how close you are to getting your ult. Previously, you only knew vaguely how close you were, but now, once you get to 3,000 points on the top left, you're ready to burst out some damage from one of your characters.
But now for the main attraction, the new assist system. Like the enemy juggling mechanics before it, Hoyo has revealed a new post-tuning test combat system to help keep things fun and interesting. Watching the new footage, you couldn't be blamed for thinking that all characters can now parry, but that doesn't tell the full story. These parries are actually assists, and they're segmented into 3 different categories: evasive, offensive, and defensive. That last one has definitely been giving off some parry vibes. When we first began trying to decipher how the full mechanics worked, George and I were gushing about how much oomph the animation has and how visceral it looks. So let's start by breaking down the overall assist system first to then better understand each specific type.
You'll notice these 3 bars or charges around the character swap button. These charges are used whenever you swap characters just before an attack, triggering an assist based on the incoming character's assist type. You'll know you can use an assist on an attack if it's preceded by a yellow flash. However, as far as we can tell, there are attacks that lack this indicator but can still trigger assists, and also some that won't, so it's not a hard rule. You'll just have to use your best judgment as you play. You can recharge these by poise breaking an enemy and using QTE attacks, 1 charge gained per attack done.
As mentioned, and from what we can tell, the different types of assists are likely relegated to specific characters. In other words, some characters can only do an evasive assist, and some characters only offense and others defense. The footage shows examples of each kind of assist move with different characters. For example, Billy does an evasive assist, Nekomiya does an offensive assist, and Ben does a defensive. We're pretty sure this is how the system works because it would look a little strange for Billy to parry with his guns.
Beasts all over the shop.
Okay, so now that you have an understanding of the basics, let's move to the assists most prominently featured in the boss footage, the defensive assist. This assist is recently being compared to a parry because it requires tight timing and it deals direct poise damage when executed. Once you parry, or rather use a defensive assist against an attack, you'll be in a kind of defensive stance and it will block any follow-up attacks without spending any additional charges. We speculate these additional blocks might be limited to the defensive assist types and might be automatic as long as you don't act immediately or the stance window expires. But regardless, we calculated how much poise damage each character does on assist and discovered Vaughn's did 17 poise damage for the initial parry and then about 5 damage on blocking follow-up attacks, while Soldier 11's did 12 damage then 3. So changing up who is assisting will give better returns but costs you more charges. So you have to decide wisely when to switch and when to hodl.
So then the gameplay flow of this is simple. When you want to parry an attack, you hit the swap button, changing characters, triggering the assist, thereby consuming 1 charge point and dealing poise damage. If there's any follow-up attacks, you'll be able to block them without using any charges.
Okay, let's switch over to the opposite assist, offensive. How this seems to work is that a character interrupts an enemy's attack and then immediately counterattacks. It doesn't seem, however, to give an opportunity for you to deal with any follow-up attacks because it goes straight into an attack. While it does interrupt the enemies that we see it used on, it's possible that bigger bosses won't be interrupted, meaning a defensive assist might be more appropriate.
Finally, let's get to the evasive assist. The video highlights evasive assist here here and moves directly into the first clip, so it's reasonable to think that they're showing it off with Billy, who is also the only character to be showing this assist type. As he swaps in, he dodges immediately, and there's also a visual effect along with some extra dodge flair when compared to a normal dodge. After the evasion, he also quickly does a follow-up attack. It's impossible to determine how much damage or poise this might do, but if we assume that it lacks the follow-up attack protection that the defensive assist gives, it's likely enough to compensate for that specific missing feature. It's assumed that each assist type will have their own pros and cons as well as situational strengths. For example, the offensive assist could deal more HP damage, or evasive assist could give you more ult. But without any additional information, it's hard to say.
We're confident in our understanding of how this all works, though there might be some finer details that could be functionally correct, but technically incorrect. Regardless, this gives you a good idea of what's going on. If you notice something working contrary to what we've said here, we're more than interested in hearing about your observations. But with that, we'll see ya in the next one.
See ya!